Hey guys, I'm really excited to talk about this movie. I have been looking forward to this review for a while. Fantastic Four is directed by Tim Story, and it is the second cinematic attempt at a Fantastic Four movie. This movie follows up an attempt in the early 90s to produce a Fantastic Four movie just for the sake of making a Fantastic Four movie to keep the rights. Never intended to actually be released, and I don't think it has ever been released to this day. Not that I know of, anyways. But so, yeah, let's talk about Fantastic Four. Fantastic Four tells the story of a scientist named Richards and his partner Ben Grimm, who make a deal with Victor Von Doom to go and analyze this cosmic storm in space, and they enlist the help of another one of Victor's employees and his girlfriend Sue Storm, who is Reed's ex-girlfriend, and her brother Johnny, who I think he was the pilot or the captain or something. He was in charge. And what happens is this cosmic storm is a lot stronger than they first realized. They all get affected by it, and when they get back to Earth, they slowly start to realize that they have superpowers. And so Reed decides that he wants to try and analyze them and figure out how they can either cure it or control it. Meanwhile, Victor slowly starts to kind of go insane and turn evil. So first off, I want to talk about the cast. You have Ioan Gruffudd, if I'm saying his name right. I don't think I am, but he plays Reed Richards, Mr. Fantastic. I think it was a great casting choice. He does a really good job with the role. He looks the part. He acts it very well. He just does a really good job. Jessica Alba plays the Invisible Woman. Worst casting choice in a comic book movie since Halle Berry as Catwoman, which was only a year before this, so they really didn't learn anything in between then. Not that Jessica Alba can't be a good actress. I mean, she's not, but she isn't good in this movie. I will say one of my biggest complaints with this movie is something really small. In the scene where they're on the ship and they're getting like ready and they're putting on their uniforms, they're like undersuits that they're supposed to wear underneath their like jumpsuit things is the suits that they end up using as their Fantastic Four suits. But so everyone else has it's like normal, it's like skin tight, it goes up to the like it has like a collar on the neck and it goes up to here, and everyone looks very professional. And then you have Sue, she walks in, and hers, like, the collar ends here, and then it's all open along here. And it's like, how is that practical? These are supposed to be scientific suits that are supposed to protect or help with something sciency and biological. So why on Earth would you just have someone walking around with just cleavage just for the sake of cleavage? It's stupid. And that is one of my biggest complaints with that movie, is just that little bit right there. Then you have Chris Evans, pre-Captain America, as Johnny Storm, the Human Torch, and Michael Chiklis as the Thing. Now, Chris Evans, I think, he does a really good job. I forgot that Chris Evans was Captain America, or not Captain America, but the Human Torch when Captain America came out. So that just goes to show you how much of kind of an acting chameleon he is, because he obviously, Captain America and the Human Torch are two drastically different characters, and he plays them both pretty well. And then Michael Chiklis, I will touch on him later. That sounded less wrong in my head. Anyways, let's talk about the movie. So I just want to start off by saying that I think this is I personally think this is the best Fantastic Four movie. Not that that's actually saying anything really, because it's the 90s one that never got released. Four Stick, and then Fantastic Four and Rise of the Silver Surfer, which I think are actually both very decent movies. I don't think that these movies are as horrible as a lot of people say and deserve a lot of the hate that they get. I mean, they're decent movies. They're very competently made superhero movies. I just think that the main problem with this movie that I think a lot of other people had that I personally didn't have, and I still don't have, is that this came out during like the end of the era of campy comic book movies. And so I think a lot of people were ready for more mature, darker superhero movies. And then this movie definitely turned up the cheese factor and the camp. And well, I personally love that because it reminded me of some of my favorite superhero movies of the 70s and 80s, like the Superman movies with Christopher Reeve. I personally loved that. I can see how some people wouldn't like it, considering that this isn't the deepest, most, I don't know, challenging superhero movie ever made. But yeah, I still personally like the movie, though. I think the actors all do a really good job. Again, I think the standouts are Chris Evans as Johnny Storm, the Human Torch, just because he's douchey, but in a very charismatic way. And his character doesn't really have that much of an arc in the movie, as it is. If you watch the extended edition, which was only on the DVD for some reason, they still haven't put it on the Blu-ray yet, which kind of sucks, but I mean, the extended edition doesn't really improve on the movie too much. I'd say it brings it up maybe like a fraction of a grade, which I will give it a grade when I do the grade at the end. But, you know, it adds a little bit more to his character, so that is kind of nice to actually have him have a clearer arc in the movie. But taking it out didn't really affect the movie too much, so it's okay. But then you have Michael Chiklis as Ben Grimm, the Thing, who has, I think, personally the best and most well-defined character arc in the movie. Because he is the worst affected out of all of them. You know, Reed, Sue, Johnny, yeah, they're weird and stuff. Reed can stretch, Johnny catches on fire, and Sue turns invisible and can cast force fields. But they still all look normal. Ben is the only one that looks different because now he's a giant rock monster. So his whole arc in the movie is learning to accept himself, and a lot of the movie focuses on, like, character-wise for him, focuses on that story. And I think that made him the most well-defined character. Because he starts out as he's a happy dude. He's married to the love of his life. You know, he's just got a great life. And then he gets turned into this rock monster. And his wife leaves him. Everyone in the world is scared of him for a while. He can't hold a glass or it'll break. He can't eat with a fork because he'll literally bite the fork apart. So yeah, his life kind of sucks. And then he meets this blind girl. I'm drawing a blank on the character's name, but I remember the actress's name, Kerry Washington's character. I can't remember her name in the movie, but he meets her, and this is one of the things I think they should have left in the movie from the extended cut that shouldn't have been cut, is there's a scene that got cut out. Well, I don't like the music choice particularly. I think the scene is still amazing because she's blind, he's a monster, so they kind of have this little dynamic at first when they meet, and then he goes into the place where she works, and she's an artist. She does like sculptures and stuff, and she makes sculptures of him, and she's just like, yeah, and she is like the only one that kind of isn't afraid of him, doesn't hate him, doesn't think he's a monster. And I think that was one of the best plot points in the movie, and it did get cut out, but yeah. I think by far the highlight of this film, though, is the relationship between Johnny and the Thing. And I love the way it's expanded on even more in Rise of the Silver Surfer. But basically what you have is they start out at odds because Ben doesn't like Johnny because he thinks he's irresponsible. He thinks he's not, he doesn't think he's qualified for the position that he's been given. And then after they get their powers, they're constantly bickering and at odds and fighting each other with their powers. And then by the end, when they save the world as a team, as the Fantastic Four, they kind of grow a mutual respect for each other, and it slowly kind of grows throughout the whole movie. But of course, with every group of people who never really liked each other that much to begin with, and then they're forced to kind of have to work together, it doesn't start out great at first, but they kind of all grow to be this, I don't really want to say family per se, but in the comics, they are the first family of Marvel, so yeah. I will say that the weakest point of this movie would probably be the Reed, Sue, and Victor love triangle. It's the weakest portion of the movie, and that sucks because it's kind of the main focus of the movie. Because that's kind of each character's motivation. Reed's motivation is that he wants to get Sue back. Victor's motivation is that he wants to marry Sue. Marry Sue. And then Sue just doesn't have a character at all. But, yeah. So it's not very well done, I would say. And I just think it should not have been the focus of the movie. I think the focus of the movie should have been more on actually not having a romance at all. I think the focus should have been on all four of the characters trying to get along and grapple with these new powers, which a good chunk of the movie actually does focus on pretty well. I felt like the romance story detracted from it quite a bit, and I didn't particularly like that all that much. I think the effects are pretty good. There's quite a lot of practical effects. Obviously, the Thing is all prosthetics, and it looks incredible. I still think that is the best looking version of the Thing that we have gotten so far, and I really love that. I think the dialogue is mostly pretty good. It's a little cheesy here and there. The characters are pretty well fleshed out. Doctor Doom is a good villain. Not really that comic book accurate, but still pretty good. I don't think this is a great movie, but I don't think it's as horrible as a lot of people like to say. And I'm going to give it a B-. I'm going to give the extended version a B. See, the added character arc elevates it a little bit. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.